Hi, boys and girls. This is Ms. Kathy. I'm so happy you've joined me today for another story just for you. Stones from Heaven, as told to Brenda Segna by Luise Wemer. Lord, please help us to build a church, Nibirye prayed as the rain ran along the ends of her raven-black hair and onto her neck. She shook her head to make the drops fly. Nibirye and her family had been praying for a church for as long as the young girl could remember. Nibirye lived in Africa, where there was more prayer than money when it came to building a church. In the middle of Africa is a mountain range called the Rwenzori Mountains, or the Mountains of the Moon. East of the mountains is Uganda, and on the western side the Congo stretches out as far as the eye can see. At the foot of the mountains on the Congolese side was a group of Adventists with about 50 members. They were mostly women who worshipped God every Sabbath in a church made of sticks with mud smeared between them, topped with a grass-thatched roof. Next to the church was a river, with a road that led from the Congo to Uganda. On the other side of the road was a very big and beautiful church where the members worshipped God on Sundays. Nibirye and all the members of the Adventist church dreamed about having their own big church, just like the one on the other side of the road. If only we had a nicer church, Nibirye said, looking at her stick church. If only. Let's pray, said Nibirye's mother, and that's just what they did. Dear Lord, please give us stones so that we can build a church. 12-year-old Saif, who attended the other church, heard about the prayers of Nibirye and the Sabbath keepers. You think God will rain stones from heaven? He asked Nibirye mockingly. The youngsters stood by the river that ran near the church. God will hear our prayers, and yes, I believe he will send stones, Nibirye insisted. Many of the people from the other church started mocking the Sabbath keepers. But Nibirye and the Adventist church members didn't care, because they knew that God would hear their prayers and answer according to his will. A few days later, there was a terrible storm in the Rwenzori Mountains. It was so severe that many stones were loosened. They came tumbling down the mountains and were carried downstream by the river. The flooded river piled all those stones on the land next to the Adventists' mud and thatched church. The church members thanked the Lord and started carrying all the stones to the place where they wanted the church built. Now the church members needed a builder. Dear Lord, they prayed, please send someone to build our church. They prayed. They waited. They prayed some more. And just a day's journey by car from the small group of praying church members was the Adventist mission station of Rweze. Near the station lived an African Adventist named Petro, who was very wealthy and a builder as well. Petro was a very gifted man who had built many beautiful government buildings. He heard about the church group near the Rwenzori Mountains and their prayer for a builder. Petro wondered about the stones. He wondered about the church they prayed for, and he knew that God wanted him to visit the Adventist group, so he went to meet these believers. Nibirye showed him the pile of stones. She would have asked question after question, but the man was looking down at the pile of rocks, praying. They stood there for a long time. Nibirye's toes were numb, and so were her ankles. Petro stood stone still, almost as if he were part of the rocks. He was satisfied. I will build a church large enough for 100 members, he told Nibirye and the other church members. Oh no, said Nibirye's mother, we want a church for 500 people. But you have only a few members, replied Petro, shaking his head. What was the point in building a larger church than necessary? The God who rained stones from heaven can also fill a church with room for 500 people, Nibirye said. We must believe. I believe God sent you stones, so it should be no problem for him to send you church members too, Petro said. So he and his helpers built a very big and beautiful church that would hold 500 members. When the church was finished, the Adventists asked a pastor to come and dedicate their church. Saif and the members from his church had watched all these miracles as they happened. I'm sorry, Saif said to Nibirye, and he truly was. God really did answer your prayers. I shouldn't have made fun of you. I forgive you, Nibirye said. Would you like to come to the dedication service for our new church? Really? Saif said with a smile the size of a cantaloupe slice. Not only did Saif go to the Adventist church for the dedication, but all the people from the church across the road attended. They filled the church, and they came the next week and the next. Eventually, they were baptized and became members of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. God had filled the church just as Nibirye believed. Nibirye and all the church members learned that God hears and answers prayers.
The story you have heard today is from God's Greatest Stories, written by various authors and compiled by Randy Fischel, and used with permission from the Pacific Press Publishing Association. If you're interested in any other books published by the Seventh-day Adventist Church, please visit AdventistBookCenter.com or call 1-800-765-6955.
This podcast is a production of the Carolina Conference of the Seventh-day Adventist Church.